All right, guys. So this looks like a very interesting article from Practical Data Engineering blog. It's called Open Source Data Engineering Landscape. Basically, we scan the landscape of data engineering tools. There are a lot of them, as you might have known. So it's good that someone is trying to organize things, to see what is important, what is hyped, etc. So let's go over it. It's very long, but I think it's going to be worth the effort. He makes this report um, once a year. So once a year we get this report. Of course, this is one-man show that is doing the report, uh, and we should consider it as a report created by one man. But let's see. So introduction. The open source data engineering landscape continues to evolve rapidly with significant developments across storage, processing, integration, and analytics. So we already see here that there are a couple of dimensions to the evolvement of the open source landscape. Storage, like storage formats, Iceberg, TC, S3, processing, columnar, the processing itself, the computation, the integration of systems. Right? I think maybe Airflow would be like integrating multiple, but let's say maybe it's in the processing and analytics, BI tools, etc. This marks the second year the open source data engineering landscape is published this post. The goal is to identify and showcase key active projects and prominent tools in the data engineering space and provide a comprehensive overview of the dynamic data engineering ecosystem, key trends, and developments. While this landscape is published annually, as we said, the accompanying GitHub repository is updated continuously throughout the year. Feel free. Let's have a look at this GitHub repository. Basically, you update this, a curated list of open source tools used in analytics platforms, and here we see all the analytic platform based on categories, right? I mean, not all of them, the prominent ones. We see it has some stars, not too many. It's not tens of thousands, but it's good enough. And they update it continuously. So here we see relational DBMS, distributed SQL DBMS. Let's see here. Cache stores. So if you want to know, if you want to know what to use, let's say, right? Let's say you need a document store. So we go to the document store and we can give a safe bet that he has these most prominent ones included in here. Graph databases, distributed key value stores. You see Riak inactive, right? So let's say you wanted a distributed key value store and you started looking at Riak, you already see here that it's inactive. Wide column stores, embedded key values, level DB. I remember all the hypes, Sphinx, we had all these hypes around. Things, streaming database, interesting database, InfluxDB, columnar, OLAP databases. All this is very interesting. Real time. Also, the categorization here is good because you see like the space. You see ClickHouse under real time OLAP engine, right? DuckDB under in-process OLAP engine. OLAP extensions, distributed file system. What is this? Distributed object store, serialization framework, Parquet, Avro, or C. It's really good too. It's really good list. What can I say? It's really a good list. I mean, organizing data has always been something interesting. I think there is also an Xtable format, open table format, but it's futuristic. I mean, it's in beta and stuff like this. Data integration. Here is Apache Xtable. It's under Universal Lakehouse. Interesting. So, yeah. So, this is really some nice thing. This is really nice thing. Beaming under unified processing. Even just going over this, and you already see the landscape. The categorization of this is really good. Really good. Python processing frameworks, multi-threaded data frames, Python workflow scaling. All this looks great. Workflow orchestration, job scheduling, amazing. Amazing stuff. You need to bookmark this. Amazing stuff. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay. Amazing. Metadata platforms, open standards, schema and catalog. Yeah, really good. BIS code, Streamlit, Evidence Dash, Crane collaboration. This is fucking great. Okay, let's get back. LLM. How could we forget it? Diffie LLM development platform, RAG pipeline, interesting, Haystack, super duper. Yeah, so I think it's not all the frameworks, but let's see. Research methodology. Conducting such extensive research demands considerable effort and time. I continuously research and strive to stay informed about significant developments in the data engineering ecosystem throughout the year, including news, activities, trends, reports, advancements. Last year, I built my own little data platform to track GitHub public repository events, enabling better analysis of GitHub-related metrics for related to open source tools such as code activity, stars, and engagement and issues. The stack includes data lake, S3, repository-like, Parquet is the serialization format, package columnar, DuckDB for processing and analytics, Apache Nifi for data integration, Apache Silterset for visualization, and PostgreSQL the metadata management. Among other tools, this setup allowed me to collect approximately 1 terabyte of raw GitHub event data consisting of billions of records, along with an aggregated dataset that rolls up daily, totaling over 500 million records. Tool selection criteria. The available open source projects for each category are obviously vast, making it impractical to include every tool and project in the present landscape. While the GitHub page contains a more comprehensive list, is it the same one? Yeah, it's the same one. More comprehensive list tools, the annually published landscape only contains active projects, excluding inactive and fairly new projects with no minimal maturity or traction. However, not all included tools may be fully production ready. Some are still on their journey toward maturity. Without further ado, here is the 2025 open source data engineering landscape. Okay. State of open source in 2025. The open source data engineering ecosystem experienced substantial growth in 2024 with over 50 new tools added to this year's landscape while removing approximately 10 inactive and archived projects. Although not all of these tools launched in 2024, they represent important additions to the ecosystem. While this growth demonstrates continued innovation, the year also saw concerning developments regarding licensing changes. Established projects including Redis, CockroachDB, Elasticsearch, and Kibana transitioned to more closed and proprietary licenses, though Elastic later announced return to the open source licensing. So I think, they transitioned to more closed and proprietary license for a reason, because some clouds took them and profited for them. So they say, hey, we are not going to give you our product for free. We are going to change our license. So it is not necessarily against you. It's more in opposition to the cloud taking their products. Right. However, these shifts were balanced by significant contributions to the open source community from major industry players, Snowflake contribution of Polaris, Databricks, open sourcing of Unity Catalog, OneHouse donation of Apache Xtable, Netflix release of Maestro demonstrated ongoing commitment to the open source development from industry leaders. The Apache Foundation maintained its position as a key steward of data technologies, actively incubating several promising projects throughout 2024. Notable projects in incubation include Apache Xtable, Universal Table Formats, Apache Amoro, Lakehouse Management, Apache Horror DB, Time Series Database, Apache Gravitino Data Catalog, Apache Gluten, so many tools. So the Linux Foundation has also strengthened its position in the data space, continuing to host exceptional projects such as Delta Lake. I didn't know that Delta Lake is part of the Linux Foundation. Mudensten, Kedron, Milvus, and Marquez. The foundation expanded its portfolio with new significant additions, including VLLM, led by the University of California, Berkeley, and OpenSearch, which was transferred from AWS to the Linux Foundation. Open source versus open core versus open foundation. Not all of the projects listed are fully interoperable, vendor neutral. Open source tools, some operate under open source model where not all components of the complete system are available in the open source version. Typically, critical features such as security, governance, and monitoring are reserved for the paid version. Questions remain about the sustainability of the open source business model, open core business model. This model faces significant challenges, leading some to believe it may give way to the open foundation model. In this approach, open source software serves as the backbone of commercial offerings, ensuring that it remains a fully viable product for production. Necessary features, overview of categories. The data engineering landscape is divided into 9 major categories: storage systems, databases, and storage engines spanning OLTP, OLAP, specialized storage solution, storage systems. Data lake platforms, tools, and frameworks for building and managing data lakes and lakehouses, data processing integration frameworks for batch and stream processing, plus Python data processing tools, workflow and orchestration, data ops tool for orchestrating data pipelines and managing data operations, data integration, solutions for data ingestion, CDC, data capture and integration between system, data infrastructure, core infrastructure components including container, station monitoring, ML platform, tools focused on ML platform, ML ops and vector databases, metadata management, solution for data catalogs, governance and metadata management, analytics and visualization, or the BI tools. In the following sections, latest trends, innovation, and current state. Major products category briefly discuss storage systems. Storage system landscape has seen significant architectural advancements, 2024, particularly in the realm of OLAP databases system. So analytical processing. DuckDB emerged as a major success story, particularly following its 1.0 release that demonstrated production readiness for enterprise use. The new embeddable OLAP category has expanded with entrants like CHDB, built on ClickHouse, GlareDB, SlateDB. I wish there was some more explanation. I mean, embeddable meaning I think you can take this database and embed it in your app. Some more explanation would be here. Because, today we're talking about vector embeddings, and I think it's not a vector. It means you take the database and embed it, because it's talking here about DuckDB. DuckDB is like local database. Lightweight analytical, stored systems, OLTP, we have NoSQL and SQL, relational databases, KV, document graph, multimodal, and OLAP, offline, real-time, embeddable OLAP databases. Embeddable, I guess, I think. OLAP extensions HTAS. What is HTAS? Hybrid transactional analytical storage. So it's hybrid. It's both transactional like OLTP and also analytical like OLAP. OLAP extensions HTAS. A significant development has been the proliferation It's new OLAP extensions, especially in the Postgres. Yeah, Postgres, they have extensions for everything. You want a time series database? Postgres extension. You want a vector database? Postgres. You want search? Everything. If I had a startup, I mean, before I get the 1 billion users, Postgres would do everything. When I pass the billion users, I would change Postgres with something else. These extensions allow to seamlessly extend OLTP databases, transforming these systems into HTAP, hybrid transactional analytical processing, or new HTAS, engine that integrate headless data storages, like data lakes and lakehouses with transactional databases. HTAS hybrid transactional OLTP, remote headless storage. Okay, so we have here the formats, the data formats, the data lake itself, and the actual storage. Not sure. MotherDuck's release of PG DuckDB represented a major advancement, enabling DuckDB to serve as the embeddable OLAP engine with PostgreSQL. Interesting. So, embeddable OLAP with DuckDB, PG DuckDB into Postgres. Okay, great. I mean, but I would already guess that Postgres, as we said, would have extensions for just about everything. The PG Mooncake extension followed, providing native column store capabilities in open table formats like Asberg and Delta. PG Mooncake providing native column store. So it's like Postgres would have native column store with PG Mooncake with common table formats like Iceberg and Delta. Would support transactions on top of the storage itself. Crunchy Data and ParaDB made similar contributions to PG Parquet. Wow. And PG Analytics, respectively, enabling direct analytics over Parquet data on files on data lakes. This is just amazing. Okay, it's like, for example, in PG Parquet, extension to connect Postgres and Parquet. Just have everything. Question is, so you copy from a query into a file bucket, copy the result into, basically here you do an export, right? You do here an export, 8-second example product level, but not just basic version, one that composite product and arrays. Okay, so I don't have time. Let's continue with this. Zero disk architecture. The zero disk architecture emerged perhaps the most transformative trend in storage systems, fundamentally changing how database systems manage storage and compute layers. This architectural approach completely eliminates the need for local attached disk, instead using remote deep storage, so completely remote storage. Solution like S3 object storage from pixel beyond OLAP storage systems such as cloud, data warehouses, and open table formats. We are witnessing a significant emergence of this pattern in NoSQL real-time streaming. No local storage. Okay, on which databases? The primary trade-off for disk-based versus zero-disk system is cost versus performance and the I/O latency for reading and writing data into the physical storage. While disk-based systems can manage fast sub-millisecond I/O, the zero-disk system achieves economics of scale with cheap scalable object storage. The cost of surfacing latency is up to 1 second when reading and writing. Yes, I know, for a report, who cares? Usually. Even if you do care on a report, if it saves you effort and time, then you might prefer the latency, right, over the development and management of the storage and disk. zero disk storage. We see here the compute is going here to some remote storage. New database systems, including SladeDB and Apache HorrorDB, time series databases were built from the ground up with this architecture, while established systems like Apache Doris and Starrock adopted in basically zero disk storage, and other real-time engines such as AutoMQ and Influx 3.0 are increasingly adopting the zero disk paradigm. For comprehensive analysis of zero disk architecture and implications, see the data exploration in the following article. Interesting. Other notable developments. Following Redis move to a proprietary license in 2024, Valky emerged as a leading open source alternative. Yeah, I wouldn't jump, because as I said, the license changes are mainly against the clouds. It's not necessarily against you. Becoming the most start storage system in GitHub. Also, you saw we had this alerts on the page where we view the stores. So you need to be careful before jumping into new technologies. Major cloud providers quickly adopted it, with Google version into memory store and Amazon supporting it to Elasticache and MemoryDB service. Other notable developments include ParaDB, an alternative to Elasticsearch, built on the Postgres. Postgres, alternative to Elasticsearch. And new hybrid streaming storage systems like Proton from TimePlus and Flask introduced by Vervenica. These systems aim to integrate streaming and OLAP functionalities with a columnar storage foundation. 2. Data Lake Platform. With Database Pioneer, it's a very long article. It's good. With Database Pioneer, Michael Stonebaker endorsing the Lakehouse architecture and open table formats such as the OLAP DMAMS archetype, Data Lakehouse continues to be the hottest topic in data engineering. The open table format landscape continued to evolve significantly. 2024, the fourth major open table format, Apache Pymon, graduated from incubation, bringing streaming Lakehouse capabilities with Apache Flink integration. Apache Xtable emerged a new project focused on bidirectional format conversion with Apache Amora. I wish there were some examples here because, not all of us know exactly what this is. It's a new thing also. Just, I know it's a long article, but example here and there would be helpful. While Apache Amora entered incubation with its Lakehouse management platform in 2024, Apache Iceberg here established itself as the leading project among open table formats frameworks. Yes, Apache Iceberg is currently leading. I'm not sure it will be like this in following years because the Xtable and other formats like more advanced, distinguished by the ecosystem expansion and GitHub repository metrics, including higher number of stars, forks, and pools. Yeah, so Iceberg is currently leading the whole table format. All major SaaS cloud vendors have been enhancing their platforms to support access to open table formats. However, write support has been less prevalent, with Apache Iceberg being the preferred choice for comprehensive CRUD, create with updated data integrations. Google's Big Lake Managed Table, enabling multiple Iceberg tables with customer managed cloud storage. Amazon newly announced S3 table, with native Iceberg support, and other SaaS tools such as Red Panda launching Iceberg Topics, and the Crunchy Data Warehouse deeply integrated with Apache Iceberg. Example of this increasing adoption, deep integration with Iceberg. Yeah, so S3 tables integrating with Git, etc. Going forward, universal table formats like Apache Xtable and Delta Uniform Delta Lake Universal Programming may face significant challenges in navigating the potential divergence of features across various formats, and the fate of OpenTable formats may mirror that of OpenFile formats when Parquet emerged as the de facto standard. As the Lakehouse ecosystem continues to grow, the adoption of interoperable open standards and frameworks within an Lakehouse platform is expected to gain more popularity. Emergence of native table formats libraries. New trend is emerging. The Lakehouse ecosystem focused on developing native libraries in Python and Rust. These libraries aim to provide direct access to open table formats without the need for heavy frameworks like Spark. Yeah, so by native we mean directly supporting it. So Python and Rust will directly support it without the need for intermediary Spark. Notable examples include DeltaRS, native Rust library for Delta Lake with Python bindings, HooDRS, and Iceberg, an evolving Python library designed to enhance the accessibility of Iceberg. For me, this means that right now we have a Python library to access directly Iceberg instead of going through Spark, etc. 3. Data processing and integration. Rise of single-node processing. The rise of single-node processing represents a fundamental shift in data processing, challenging traditional distributed first approaches. Recent analysis show that many companies have overestimated their big data needs, prompting a reassessment of their data processing requirements, even in the organizations with large data volumes. Approximately 90% of queries remain within manageable workload size to run on a single machine, only scanning recent data. Modern single-node processing engines such as DuckDB, Apache Data Fusion, and Polaris have emerged as powerful alternatives capable of handling workloads that previously necessitated distributed systems like Haftes, Spark, Presto, and Amazon Athena. To explore the comprehensive analysis of the state of single-node processing, please follow the link below. Interesting. This would be an interesting read. Basically, I was saying, if you can process everything in a single node, why not do it? It would be faster, less things to worry about, simpler, easier. Stream processing. The stream processing ecosystem continued to expand in 2024 with Apache Flink, further solidifying its position as the premier streaming engine, while Apache Spark retains its strong position. Celebrating its 10th anniversary, Flink released. I think the difference between Flink and Spark, Flink is more oriented to streaming, like actual streaming, while Spark is micro-batching. Flink released version 2.0, representing the first major update since Flink 1.0 debuted 8 years ago. The Apache Flink ecosystem. I would always be wary about streaming. I mean, go to streaming only if you really, really need streaming. If not, just go to the raw data and query it. I've seen cases where streaming was chosen, and then it was not that stable. And then we moved to just read the data from S3. And nobody noticed the difference. And it was more stable. The Apache Flink ecosystem expanded significantly with the introduction of the Apache Pymon open table format and newly open source Flash streaming engine in 2024. Leading cloud vendors have increasingly integrated Flink into their management service, latest being Google serverless query engine for Apache Flink solution. Emerging streaming engines: Fluvia, Roya, FastStream. Striving to compete for these established containers, Fluvia and Royo stand out as the only Rust-based engines which aim to eliminate the overhead typically associated with traditional overhead. In major open source training news, Redpanda acquired Bentos Dev, rebranding it as Redpanda Connect and transitioning it to more proprietary license response to WAP-Stream forked. Bentos project renaming the Bento committing to 100% MIT license. Python processing frameworks. In the Python data processing ecosystem, Polaris is currently the dominant high-performance data frame library for data engineering workloads, excluding PySpark. The dominant, excluding PySpark. Polaris achieved an impressive 89 million downloads in 2024, marking a significant milestone with 1.0 release. However, Polaris now faces competition from DuckDB's DataFrame API, which has captured the community attention with its remarkably simple integration with external storage system with zero-copy integration, direct memory sharing between different systems. With Apache Arrow, similar to Polaris, both libraries rank at the top 1% of the most downloaded Python libraries last year. Apache Arrow solidified its position as a de facto standard for in-memory data representation in the Python data processing ecosystem. The framework has established deep integration with the various Python processing frameworks, including Apache Data Fusion, IBDIS, DaftGoods, and Pandas, and after other innovative data frame products with high potential IBDIS features. So there is an endless list of libraries. For workflow orchestration data, in 2025, open source workflow orchestration category continues to stand as one of the most dynamic segments of the data engineering ecosystem, featuring over 10 active projects, and from established platforms like Apache Airflow, which is great, to newly open source like Netflix Maestro. This is very good. This is a good start. Graph. Because if you visualize the stars, you see that Airflow is pretty stable, and then there is a spike here with this Kestra, but Airflow is the best bet, in my mind. After a decade of Apache Airflow continues to be the most deployed and adopted workflow orchestration engine with a staggering 320 million downloads. So go for the safe bet, I would say. Go for Airflow. While facing competition from rising competitors like Dagster, Perfect, and Kestra, just go with Airflow for God's sake. Interestingly, Kestra gained the most stars on GitHub on 2024, with so directly linked to its $8 million funding announcement in September, which was featured TechCrunch. In terms of code activity, Dagster demonstrated remarkable development activity, impressive 27K commits, close to 6K. Dagster looks good also. For comprehensive analysis on the state of workflow orchestration. So he has like a full story on each of those. Great. Data quality. Great Expectations continues to be a leading Python framework for data quality and validation, also featured in DataBank's top 10 data and AI products. So there are good links here to many articles, followed closely by Soda and Pandera in the data engineering practice. However, there is some disappointing news that a diff project has been archived. It's my entire data from 2024. Data versioning. Data versioning remains a prominent new topic in 2024 as efforts continues to bring the capabilities of modern version control systems like Git to data lakes and lakehouses. Projects like LakeFS, Nessie enhance modern data lakes table formats, Iceberg and Delta Lake by extending their transactional metadata layers. Data transformation. The scope of using dbt for data transformation is expanding beyond its original focus on data modeling within data warehouse system. It's now making inroads into off-warehouse environments such as data lakes through new integrations and plugins that leverage ephemeral compute engines like Trainer. Currently, dbt faces competition primarily from the SQL Mesh. Notable standoff 2024 that was SQL Mesh versus dbt detailed, highlighted by Tobacco CEO, who claimed on social media that SQL Mesh is so good it's banned from dbt conference. Data integration. Data integration space, Airbyte maintained its leadership position, achieving an impressive milestone by closing 30K pull requests in preparation for version 1.0. DLT framework demonstrated significant change. Event hubs, streaming PubSub. One of the most notable innovations in data integration space came from the evolving data string landscape. The critical shift in is separation of storage and compute, coupled with the adoption of object storage in a zero-disk architecture. WebStream is a pioneer of implementation of this architecture in the real-time streaming. This model also enables flexible bring your own cloud deployment strategy. This model also enables flexible bring your own cloud. Stream native. Data infrastructure landscape 2024 remained largely stable, with Kubernetes celebrating its 10-year anniversary while maintaining its position as the leading resource schedule and visualization engine in cloud environments. In the observability space, InfluxDB, Prometheus, and Grafana continue their dominance, with Grafana Labs going, wow, 27 million. Reinforced long-term viewability of their core products like Grafana as general-purpose observability solutions, ML/AI platforms. Vector databases maintain strong momentum from 2023, Milvus emerging as leader alongside Quadrant, Roma, and WeAVI. The category now encompasses 10 active vector databases. What about Postgres with some plugin? Yeah, enabled data architectures. Introduction of LLM Ops, also referred to as GenOps, as a distinct category. Here represents this camp was marked by the rapid growth of Diffie VLLM. Interesting. What is this VLLM? Lot of stars. To almost 40k stars. Cheap LLM serving. Okay, so it's LLM serving. Okay. Metadata management. Metadata management platforms have gained significant momentum in recent years, with DataHub leading the open source space through its active development of community engagement. Tells you details about your data model and tables and columns, etc. However, the most notable developments in 2024 occurred in catalog management, while 2023 was dominated by competition. Table format 2024 marked the beginning of the catalog war and contrast to DataHub. Just go with DataHub. Analytics and visualization. In the open source business intelligence realm, Apache Superset and Metabase. Remaining the leading BI solutions, while Superset leading GitHub popularity, Metabase shows the highest development. Interesting. Lightdash emerged as a promising newcomer, 11 million funding, and interesting. This Lightdash could be interesting because I saw that you need something lightweight. What is Lightdash? Lightdash. Yeah. connect your DBT project. Yeah. Okay, so this looks good. Let's look at the demo app. Look at the demo app. What's going on? Click this size. Wow. Yeah, it looks good. Oh. Size. Ooh. It looks good, I have to say. Yeah. Looks to me. Wow. Okay. I need to remember this light dash. I will write this down. Really like it. BIS Code Solutions. BIS Code emerges distinctive category driven by the continued. Let me just write down light dash for